See ya.
Hey, good morning, Mike. How are you?
Doing well. Great to catch up with you. And let's start with this. I know it was supposed to be the big alumni game between Vikings alums and Holy Spirit Spartans alums. A little bit of bad weather out there. Game still on right now?
Yeah, as of right now, our game is still on. We're out here doing a little bit of field maintenance as we speak.
So tell us about this cool event. I mean, you don't get a chance to see this a lot, certainly at the high school level, with an alumni game among two different teams. I know, a number of different sports teams have alumni games, and it's basically, alums of that school playing against the current team. But this is two alumni teams going head-to-head, guys that were rivals in high school now getting a chance to come back and relive those glory days. So tell us about how this came to fruition and sort of the planning that went into this.
Well, to be honest with you, it started kind of last year. I had kind of created a alumni game just for Vikings. It was going to have past Vikings versus the current Vikings, and we had a very good turnout. And also, I know that Steve Normain at Holy Spirit also was doing the same thing. So after both of us had a successful run at it, I kind of touched base with him and asked him if he thought it would be a good idea to have a Holy Spirit alum versus AC alumni game. He agreed, and then we started getting it out there in the press, on a radio show like yourself, and, just trying to get a bunch of old guys to kind of reconnect with the programs.
Now we're doing this at the former Surf Stadium or the Sandcastle. I'm not sure exactly what it's called these days, but that's where you guys play your home games. That's where this game is happening today?
Yeah, that's where we are right now at the Sandcastle Stadium. So a little wet this morning, a little soft, but, our guys are working on it right now to get it ready for these gentlemen.
In talking to some of the alums, in organizing this game, how excited were these guys to come back and play this game and, like we said, sort of relive those glory days? I mean, I'm not sure everyone's going to be going 100% out there. You don't want to pull anything, but certainly there's a lot of pride on the line anytime you're a Viking going against a Spartan and vice versa.
Well, you know what? It all came maybe about 3 years ago. A couple of the parents that used to be alumni here in Atlantic City were kind of toying with the idea, and then we just kind of got the ball rolling. It was basically just having those guys come back out here, reliving some old memories and settling some old scores that they may not have been able to do when they were in high school.
Is this sort of the first event like this kind that you know of in South Jersey? Like I said, and like you said, you started this off with just alums coming back, maybe playing amongst each other or against your current team, but you don't hear a lot about, two alumni bases coming back and playing against one another. It's sort of unique there.
Yeah, I'll be honest with you, Mike. I have not heard of anybody else doing it. Like I said, it wasn't meant for Steve and I to make it the first one and try to catch on with other teams, but this is something because the communities are so close to each other. Everybody still kind of lives around the area, and they all talk about some of their glory days. So I said, why not? Why not have a chance for everybody to come on out? It seemed like we had a lot of participation this year, a lot of sign-ups. So we're really hoping that it kind of catches off and we can make this a yearly event.
Catching up right now with Brent Bean, head coach of the Atlantic City Vikings baseball team. AC getting ready for this big alumni game later on this morning, coming up at 10 o'clock against the Holy Spirit alums. It's over at Sandcastle Stadium. And, Coach, that's where you guys have been playing your home games for the last, 2-3 years? I mean, we talk so much about AC, not we talk about, but the general public talks about sort of the decline of Atlantic City. And, I guess you throw that ballpark in there. It's a shame to not see a pro team there anymore, but really cool that you guys get a chance to play your home games there. I know from an operational standpoint, maybe it's not ready for a pro team yet, but the field's good to go. How much fun has that been playing your home games there, and how well has the AC community sort of adopted that as the home field for the AC Vikings right now?
Well, I tell you what, we have been here now for the last 4 years, and we've been very lucky. The city of Atlantic City has been very gracious to allow us to use the field. The field is in great shape. They take care of it very well. We do our part by taking care of it. I think it's great not only for our guys to kind of play in sort of like a pro-style stadium, but also for the other teams that come and play against us here at home. They like the field as well. Nice big field, well-maintained. Kind of gives those kids like a college type / pro atmosphere to kind of play in. We get to see kind of filled roughly around maybe about 100 fans a game. But our guys really love it. They love playing here. It beats playing at our school field, but this is perfect for baseball.
How much of that was a selling point for this alumni game coming up, reaching out to guys saying, hey, not only come back and take part in this cool event, but you're going to get a chance to play at the Sandcastle too?
Well, a lot of those guys, when they come back, they never had anything like this in high school. Maybe some of them were able to play in college in nice ballparks, but for them to be able to come back home, come back to their programs, reconnect with some of the current players, and play on a great field is a great selling point. It gives these guys a chance to kind of relive some old dreams that they had when they were youngsters.
Throw some names at us, Coach. Who are some of the guys, that our listeners will be familiar with coming back and playing in this game, this alumni game between the Spartans and the Vikings later on today? Not only some names, but what kind of numbers are we looking at? Enough to field maybe multiple teams out there? Has interest been pretty good?
The interest has been very good. Some of the guys that some people may remember the names of that are playing for the Vikings is Steve Van Note, who's a graduate, Junior Mejia, who is also a current assistant coach with me. He's going to come back and play. For Holy Spirit guys, so far it looks like Mike Piani is here. Graduate of last year for Holy Spirit. He's come back to play. And some guys are starting to trickle in now, so I haven't been over there quite yet.
Let's talk about your current high school team this year. And I know taking some bumps this year, maybe a little bit younger, but boy, one of those young guys for you really standing out. We're talking about Steve Myers. I know he's an underclassman, but he's almost to 100 hits as a junior, which is really impressive. That's sort of the number if you're a high school baseball player. You like to get there maybe sometime in your senior year, but this guy approaching it as a junior. Young guys like Steve Myers, I'm sure there's a number of other guys like him on your team. How encouraging is that for you, not only to finish out this year, but looking ahead to next year saying, hey, we might be able to put something together here?
Well, you know what, this year's team, we've gone through our bumps and bruises, but we've also played very well when we needed to. We've had some key wins this year, but having a guy like Steve Myers on our team, he's really kind of been our heart and soul at the plate offensively. Hitting well over 500, pretty close to 600 right now as a junior. He had a couple hits yesterday. I think he's sitting at about 82 right now, current hits, with another year to go. But we only have 4 seniors. The rest of our guys are sophomores and juniors, and they've gotten a significant amount of playing time this year with a lot of experience. They did not have that much experience coming in, but I do like what I have seen with these young guys. They play hard for us. They never give in, and that's what you want as a coach. You don't want your guys to pack it in if the score is out of control. They seem to fight back all the time, and that's a good sign. That's what I like to see as a coach. These guys are doing everything we ask them to do, and then they're getting a lot of experience along the way.
Atlantic City Vikings head coach Brent Bean, our guest right now on the South Jersey Sports Report. Again, big AC Holy Spirit Alumni Day coming up at 10 o'clock over at the Sandcastle in Atlantic City if you're in the area and you want to go check it out. Coach, tough loss yesterday, but against a really good team, defending state champion Mainland. I know it's always a rivalry game when Mainland and Atlantic City get together, and I know you're one of those coaches that doesn't really like moral victories, but just a one-run loss against a defending state champion, a team that not many local teams have been able to beat so far this season. What are some of the takeaways from that game yesterday against the Mustangs?
It's basically competing. I was glad to see that we competed very, very well with them. Just didn't get a couple timely hits when we needed to, but you also got to tip your hat to the other guys. Coach Kern over at Mainland does a great job with his players. He has a nice group of young men right now. And, I know they're playing today in the Diamond Classic, which, we wish them luck. But, I was very happy by the way our guys competed. Maybe a ball hit to the left side, maybe a couple feet, right side a couple feet. The game could have gone a little bit differently.
Coach, you've been at it for a little while now. What's your passion level right now as a head coach? We mentioned it. You guys are competing this year, a little bit under 500. I know you've had some teams in recent years, maybe a little bit above the 500 mark, a couple playoff appearances. But, how enthusiastic, how excited are you for this season? Even though there's been some tough stretches, sort of what's your level of excitement as you coach a younger team here?
Oh, I love these guys. These guys are great. Like I said before, they've done everything that we've asked them to do. This is something that I've always wanted to do as an educator, is to be a head coach of a sport that I truly love. And it's a lot of fun with these guys. Sometimes there are frustration levels that come out, but again, we try to teach them as learning experiences along the way. As far as me, I hope I can do this until I retire. I love this sport. I love these guys. I love my school. And it's fun. It's a lot of fun.
Before we let you go, give our listeners a few more details about the game if they want to come out later on. We're talking 10 o'clock start over at the Sandcastle, right?
Yes, 10 o'clock at the Sandcastle. Like I said, now the guys are starting to come on in now in bunches. We're going to have Holy Spirit's going to be selling some hats and T-shirts. All participants in the alumni game are going to get an alumni T-shirt. We'll have a sack stand open for everybody. We got the music going with the microphone for the lineups and everything. So we're really hoping it's going to be a great event for the guys. Coming back, kind of connecting with the programs again. So like I said, even though it's the first year, we're really looking forward to take off for years on end.
Sounds like a really neat event. Again, if you're in the area, if you're around Atlantic City or Absecon today, head on over to the Sandcastle. It's the Vikings versus the Spartans, an alumni day over there, 10 o'clock start. AC Vikings head coach Brent Bean, thanks for bearing with us this morning. Have a lot of fun today, and good luck to you and your guys the rest of the regular season.
Hey, thanks, Mike. I appreciate you giving us a call and giving us some pub.
You got it. That's head coach Brent Bean of the Atlantic City Vikings. Yeah, just a